Hi. So today I want to talk about the actual things you might say in an outreach, particularly through LinkedIn, although this could work through Facebook as well. First thing I would do after you make your hit list of high probability people, right, who are interacting with the platform, look like they have an organization that has the budget to work with. And then you look through some of their recent posts and see, yeah, they're not a terrible person, or just arguing for argumentative's sake, right? We don't want to deal with that. Uh, and somebody who you could give insightful or supportive comments and not just, yeah, love this or whatever, right? Everybody knows when that's fake. All right. There's no mystery there. You're not fooling anyone with quick 2-word one-liner type responses, okay? But if you were to go in to your target prospects feed, find their posts, and then post a sentence or two of genuine, insightful, or appreciative, how I would use this kind of commentary on their post, and do that for 2 or 3 days in a row, and then send them the connection request, they're going to accept. They're not going to look at your title or anything like that at that point, what business you're in. They're not going to care. They're going to go, this is a person who's actually looked at my stuff and interacted with me. I feel that they're a human being, and therefore I'm going to right, be happy to take the relationship to the next level, right, and connect. Okay, so I really liked what you had to say here. It made me think of X, right? Or wow, I hadn't thought of it this way before. I'm going to use what you said in my interaction with my employees or other people or something like that, right? So this sort of comment. You can also say, hey, we did a study like this in 1994 and found out why or whatever like that. But try to make it about them. If you say something like that, like, hey, I'm in the business too, or in the field too, try and tie it back to them and what they were sharing. Okay, not just, well, I was also there and I'm somebody. We want to stay away from that. Okay. uh there's a lot of talk about humility and humbleness out there, and I have some, but I don't really, I'm not saying have no ego or just be totally humble, okay? When people say I'm humbled and honored to be, shut up, right? I don't resonate with that. But just in the sense of like interacting with people, nobody likes to be told, well, I caught a bigger fish, or me too, or you know, I was there. I also did a thing, and leave it at that, right? Can you add to it? Can you bring it back to them and stack on top of what they said, right? And say, but what we found was X, what you found was X plus one or Y. And I really would like to discuss the combination of those, right? Um, you might get them reaching out to you at that point. Okay, so this kind of conversation is what we want. Now, if you are on LinkedIn and you're doing connections and you don't want to do the interaction that I just talked about, I don't always do it. My assistant, who I have connecting, she doesn't always do it, and that's okay. Sometimes when we're in a specific field, and this is why it's really important to niche down and make your headline, especially on LinkedIn, your headline has to be good for that field. Okay, it has to be understood. It has to contain a word or two of terminology that field understands. All right, in mine, it's like SBRs and STTRs and OTAs. Okay, like that's gibberish to most people, but in the NASA space field, in the defense field, people know what those things are. Okay, so immediately they're like, all right, he's one of us. So that's the kind of impact that you want to have. You also do not want to try and connect with everybody under the sun. I'm gonna have some water. Because if you're like going after a coach and then going after a trainer and then going after a scientist and then going after a sales guy and then going after a recruiter or whatever, it really jumbles up your network. And the value in the network effect, which I found in space and defense, is you start out small, like 2 people, right? And there's a one mutual connection or whatever. And you start building on that. But when there's like 174 mutual connections between me and some Air Force general, and I have the right headline, and he knows like the top 8 of those mutual connections, like it's an instant yes. There is no, Jason, who are you? I need to find out more. No, it's click. Yeah, okay, right. And then here's the next step. Okay. So stay in your lane. Don't accept network requests from all over the place either, right? Keep in your lane. I only accept space and defense founders, the occasional operational excellence person, process improvement person, and maybe once in a while, somebody from outside, a sales guy or something like that, who really went the extra mile. But if they're just like spamming sort of to connect, right? Even if they're doing it nicely, I'm not going to accept if they're outside the field. Okay. Because again, I want the cleanliness of the profile and the network and those mutual connections working for me. And when you see the effect of those 200 mutual connections giving weight to your connection request with your good headline, and you do not send a message, you do not send a connection request message, right? I rarely do. I've learned not to do it because people often filter you out, even if it's personalized. So why bother, right? Let the profile do the work. And then when you're connected, send them the message. Usually when I'm connecting with somebody, it's because I've watched them give a presentation. There's some DARPA program manager and they've given a talk somewhere, and I want to discuss that further with them, right? Or discuss having them on my show as an interview guest. All right. But I've learned not to lead with that, not right away. Okay. So you send your requests, rely on the strength of the mutual connections, and then wait. Do not send a message. Do not send your offer. Do not say a thing for at least 2 business days. Okay. If it's a Friday, wait till the following Monday or Tuesday. Don't rush. Okay. What you want is them having a disconnect between accepting your connection or friend request and then you sending them this message. That's a good thing, this disconnect. It sounds weird. Like, why would you want to disconnect? I want a gap in between when I connected and when I start talking to them in their mind, so that they don't go, oh, well, you just connected to spam your crap at me, right? No, this looks more like a thoughtful connection. Like, yeah, I got in, I connected with you, and then I thought about it. Excuse me. And then I sent you this message, right? And that first message, again, should not be about you. It should not be about your offer. Nobody cares yet. No one cares. Okay. You really need to get this through your head. Nobody cares about your offer yet. They care about themselves. So ask them a question, say a statement, ask a question. I often send them something that I know is wrong. Right? I ask them a question where I'm inferring something, and that thing, I know that they're going to believe the opposite, and that's going to get a reaction. I'm looking for this emotional reaction. They're not angry, they just want to correct me, right? And now we're having a conversation. I have engaged them on a topic of interest. All right. So it's always good to say something like, I saw you were doing XYZ, and I wanted to connect with you so I could find out more about it. Maybe even just by watching your posts, right? Don't go for the jugular. All right. So that should get you connected with people. And if that's the objective we achieve with this video, I'm a happy panda, right? So I think we'll do videos later on about how to continue that process. Tyron Giuliani is the best person that I've found for this sequencing of conversations. You can find him on LinkedIn. You can find him on Facebook. He has a free group on Facebook for this sort of engagement. But stick around with me because I have proven results in this area, right? Of reaching out, connecting with the right people, developing relationships with them very quickly, and getting them to buy higher ticket programs. All right, that's good enough. Remember, this is all because of the 12 Weeks to Peak Wes Schaefer program. If you want accountability through the rest of the year for your sales efforts, if you're a salesperson or a business owner, get over there. connect with Wes, ask about the 12 weeks to peak, and get in and start doing this, and look at the great content that it helps create.